In this video, we're going to get away from automotive dashboard knobs and into television. We're going to recast television knobs from 1949. It's the Spartan. It has 5 knobs. They're old, they're cracked, they're worn out, and we're going to recast them. Here at Knob Soup, we recast vintage steering wheels, restore, mold, and cast dashboard knobs, escutcheons, and rubber items for antique, vintage, and classic cars. A radio and television collector in Minnesota contacted me and asked me if I would take a look at some television knobs from a 1949 Spartan television and asked me if they might be recast. So he sent me some photographs. I said yes, so he sent me the knobs. Here they are. I just unwrapped them. As you can see, they're cracked and weathered, and so I decided I would make a video on it. Well, I got them all cleaned up. I looked at all 5 knobs, and it looks like this knob, which is the tone knob, is the best of the 5. It has a common base that we'll use for all the others, and I examined it very closely, and all of the edges are nice and clean. The top is nice and clean, so we will use this as the master. First thing we need to do is glue on that spacer. I talked about it in another video. And what that spacer does, I got a comment on asking what the spacer does. The spacer acts as kind of like an attic at the top of the house where all of the air bubbles would filter up through. If we pour it down this way, any bubbles will arise up here. And if there's any shrinkage in the resin, it'll draw down from this top and not affect the knob. So we can draw down to a certain effect and then sand it off after when it comes out of the mold. So the first step is to glue this with a tight bond and let it harden up. I want the hole in the spacer to be close to or larger than the hole in the knob. Okay, we're just going to let that dry. This is the PVC pipe that I will use for the center section of this 3-part mold. I've engineered it with 3 parts. The top part will have 5 different molds that will be the 5 different knob functions. The other end will be the stem that will go into each one of the 5 function knobs. But so what I'm going to need to do is to drill a hole in this PVC pipe with my Forstner bit in order to be able to get the silicone down inside, because both the top and the bottom will be capped. I have drilled my 3/4 inch hole, so now I'm just going to make these plugs, and I'm going to be using white 300 smooth cast. So I just have to grease up each end of this containment dam. I have drilled 6 divots into the this base. They don't go all the way through. They're the keys that I'm going to have for the top of the knob. It'll sit on here like so. And here is the plug that I made, and it fits right there. Now what I have to do on the plug is I've got to drill 6 divots on the plug also. So that'll be the top. 6 divots have been drilled into the bottom side of it. Now I'm going to take some clear lucite, will be on the bottom here. Take some glue. Now I'm just going to line that up in the center. I basically have to eyeball it. And I want enough pressure down on top of that knob to press it against the base. So therefore I'm going to put a weight on it. All right. Now we're going to mix up a little bit of Rebound 40. We're only going to make about 17 grams, both A and 17 grams of B. Mix it together, folding in on itself, and eventually it'll go over into my vacuum chamber to suck out any of the air. And then I'm going to pour it into this mold. As you look down on it, I'm only going to add a little bit of this Mold Max 40 just to hold that knob in place, the one that has the weight on it, until it cures up. So once it cures, then I'll take the weight off of it, put a lid on top of it, the one that has the C-clamp on it, and fill it all the way up to the entire mold. We're going to let that sit for about 6 hours. Okay, now I'm going to put the plug-in that I made. I'm going to mix up another batch of Rebound 40. Put it in there. Okay, the silicone Rebound 40 is degassed. And now I'm going to pour a little bit in that trough and let it settle. All right, I put this C-clamp on it just to tighten down that lid. I'm going to pour I'll let that settle. More than 6 hours have passed, and I'm ready to demold. It looks like it worked. It's pushed up right against that knob. Now I'm going to break the acrylic free from the PVC, and what I use with that, because this is glue gun, and glue gun glue eases up with just alcohol. So clean this up a little bit. Okay, we're going to make the top, because like I said, this part's common. So when I break this apart, I'll be able to put each knob into the mold. So this bottom part's common, and then I'm going to have to make 5 separate tops to correspond with the 5 knobs. What we're going to do is mix up a little bit of Vaseline, just a drop of paint thinner. We'll thin this down. Now we do this to form a barrier between the two silicones, the silicone that I'm going to be putting on top of this, because every mistake that there is to be made in resin casting, I have done it. I'm going to dust it with some 200 just to make sure that it doesn't pick up this gold when the mold comes out. Now I'm going to glue on this top PVC, and this top PVC will act as the lid for all the other 4 knobs. Now we're going to mix up a batch of the same silicone, 20 of the B part. Now let's do 20 of the A part. A and B into, it's a little larger cup because when I vacuum it, it'll expand, and I don't want it to go over these smaller cups. Now we're to my vacuum chamber to extract all the air. What we have, that's the station selector. And we did the tone. Now we've got these ones that, this one has damage up on the inside. This is going to be the challenge one. I don't know if it's smooth down here, but let's see what happens when this was the volume one. Now we're going to do exactly what we did before. Last night I cast another top. Now I'm going to take it out of its mold and see how I did. Yeah, that came out very nice. Now we'll just pop this one out. This one is fine tuning. We still need to do, we did station selector, we did tone. So now we're going to do picture. We're going to stick this in here. Now I'll just mix up some more rebound 40 and do this wheel. And start all over again. This is all cured, so let's take it out of the mold here. This one is for the picture. So now let's push out the picture. Get ready for the next one. Got picture here. Now we need volume. This is the last one. Do the same thing we've done in the last four, which is vacuum it, get rid of the air into my vacuum chamber. All right. There we are. And there we have all five. Looks good. Now that we have all five molds, now we need to make the top part that will be in rebound 25. That will be the orange one. And it's going to be for the stem that goes down inside the knob. And it will be on this top part here. The next step is to lay down another layer of Vaseline. The silicone that I'm using, Rebound 25, it's a platinum-based silicone. It's extremely flexible. The silicone, the top half, and it's firmed up. And that's perfect. Now, let's take the whole thing apart here. So let's put it back together. And we'll do the same thing on this. TV, master, all the way across. To hold these five top sections securely to the main body, I made these little hangers out of moldies, rolled them in a ball, just pushed them on there because silicone sticks to silicone, and then cut them in half with a X-Acto knife, and that way it stays on there where I'm rotating it. We're now going to add the bronze powder. I'm using a mica powder by Crestlight, and I'm putting it on the actual mold instead of painting the top part, because if you put it on the bottom side of the mold, when you add the clear resin, it will bond with this and make a nice hard surface that you can paint the lettering after it comes out of the mold. Gonna put my mask on. I just poured 11.4 of A into here, 10.26 in here. Here's B and A, here's A into B. Now into a third cup, a little larger cup, just in case my vacuum chamber wants to overflow. After vacuuming, we're going to pour it into each mold, 1 of 5, and then we're going to put the top on it, the stem, and then into my pressure chamber. Beautiful. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, send me a comment and subscribe. Thank you.